For the last 1 year, I've been hosting on Airbnb. And in this video, we're gonna be 100% transparent with how much revenue we generated, all of our expenses, and how profitable we actually were after this 12 months. So if you're someone that's thinking about starting an Airbnb for yourself, or just nosy and wanna know how much an Airbnb could actually generate in profit per year, this video is for you. So let's get started. The Airbnb is located in Chicago, Illinois, and those of you that are not familiar with the city, the yellow bubble right here is usually where all the tourists are concentrated. So this is where you're going to find Wrigley Field, the Bean, the Riverwalk, and a lot of the museums. And the blue dot right here is O'Hare Airport, which happens to be one of the world's busiest and largest airport. So both of these areas would be prime real estate for an Airbnb location, but actually our location for the Airbnb is in between both of these. And when I tell friends and family how much we actually generate in revenue with an Airbnb in our location, they're usually very surprised. This goes to show you that you don't need some exotic Airbnb location such as a waterfront property, a hiking area, or a major city in order to be successful. Our Airbnb is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's pretty small, coming in at about 950 square feet. You can see the pictures on the left are the before and after are on the right, and man, they look a world of a difference. And surprisingly, we only spent about $35,000 to completely redo the whole apartment and a kitchen and bathroom. I try to do as much work as possible, but I'm really not that handy, so most of it just came down to doing demolition and painting. But in the end, I actually ended up saving a lot of money. So how much did we generate in total revenue with being exactly 1 year on Airbnb and VRBO? Drum roll please. $42,211. So that's our total revenue. You can see the split breakdown right here, with about $35,000 of it coming from Airbnb, which turns out to be about 84%. I thought it was very interesting that basically a majority of the actual bookings and revenue came from Airbnb. I personally would expect it to be about 60% Airbnb and 40% VRBO. So I think that's very interesting, and obviously every market is going to be a little bit different, but it tends to be most of the bookings on Airbnb. I thought the expense breakdown was absolutely fascinating, and the two largest pieces of the pie were furniture and cleanings. Of the nearly $4,700 spent in furniture, about $4,400 of it was a one-time furnishing. So actually putting all the furniture together to actually list it on Airbnb, so that included all the beds, the bed frames, the TV, and basically everything that you need for a necessity for someone to live in an apartment. Since the initial furniture is more of a one-time fee, I wanted to remove this, so going forward I actually see my expenses, what they should look like for the next year. So if you remove the one-time furniture fee, it drops down all the way down to about $300. And now our biggest pieces of the pie actually have to do with the cleanings and utilities. In total, there were 37 different cleanings for the year, which is pretty low considering a lot of people tend to stay at Airbnbs for 2 to 3 days. But I tend to market mine more towards the middle to long-term tenants. So someone that's going to stay there for anywhere from about 4 up to a week or 2 or even a month. I find that there's a lot less wear and tear on the apartment, and personally, it's just a lot easier to manage. If you're interested in seeing a full breakdown, you can pause the video right here, or I will also leave a link down to a blog that goes into a lot more details if you're interested in that. Here I included a bar graph so you could visually see the expenses compared to the revenue and what percentage they actually take up. This also excludes any of the one-time furniture purchases. So for the first year of hosting on Airbnb, after all of our expenses, we ended up profiting $28,579. If you exclude the one-time furniture that we spent to initially set up the Airbnb of $3,500 and the additional nearly $900 spent in March to add more utilities so we could increase the price, that would mean our total profit going forward would be just shy of $33,000. Tell me down below in the comments if this is what you expected for an Airbnb that does not have a premium location. As an investor, I also like to compare it to a long-term tenant to see if actually with all the work with the Airbnb, if it's worth the extra money. So if I could rent out this apartment for $1,750 a month, that would generate $21,000 in income for a long-term tenant. So the difference with doing Airbnb and a long-term tenant is just shy of $12,000. So with my opinion, it is definitely worth for me to continue doing Airbnb to gain an additional $12,000, especially because I've done slight more upgrades that allow me to charge even greater of a price, and I've done a lot more automations, so it's very hands-off for me. Some items I did to increase the price on the Airbnb was add slight more decorations in order to make it feel more homey, taking professional pictures, adding a couple more amenities such as a cheap grill and some yard games, and automating the pricing from a third-party platform, just to name a few. But if you guys are interested in a separate video on how I'm dramatically increasing the price with this Airbnb, drop a comment down below and I can make that video. Well, that's it for this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and share the video with a friend. If you enjoyed this one, you're definitely going to want to watch this video next that has been hand selected by YouTube for you to watch. I'll see you guys in the next one, and this is Kevin, your financial tutor, signing off. Peace.